Call the regular meeting of April 7th to order at 5:31. And John, would you please call the roll?
Better be longer than last.
Curry,
Here.
Adel,
Here.
Anderson,
Here.
Avedisian,
Here.
Lozano, Buell,
Here.
Bush,
Here.
Desai,
Here.
DeBella,
Here.
Drake,
Here.
Gale, Gardeau,
Here.
Gentile,
Here.
Healy,
Here.
Hoffman,
Here.
Oheb,
Here.
Holloway,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
LaChance,
Here.
Lester,
Here.
Lewis,
Here.
Magnan,
Here.
Mandyke,
Here.
Maniscalco, Payne, Tell,
Here.
Salemi,
Here.
Huber,
Here.
Taylor, Carini, Torres,
Here.
Wolf, Carrier. We have a quorum.
Thank you, John. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next is the approval of the meeting minutes of April 7th, 2025.
Adoption.
Second. Any changes, additions, deletions, revisions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed, motion carries. Is there anyone here or online that would like to address the board relative to agenda items? You. Independent consumer advocate comments and questions relative to agenda items.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Report from the district chairman. I have nothing to report. Hang on, Dominic. Report from chief executive officer.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you, Scott Jellison. I do have a few items I'm going to go through quickly. I would like to talk a little bit about our success. We've talked about our tri-trade program. As you remember in some of our presentations, Jamie has and also Jeff King has presented. You have a flyer, which we just performed our last this year's tri-trade event, April 14th through the 17th. In the last 2 years, with promulgated because of North Hartford projects, we made a commitment to hire 30% local workforce, which we've never done before. One of the challenges we had with that was to actually build capacity within the community to actually achieve that goal. And the Learn to Earn program that we've been doing really since 2015 has not provided us with the benefit that we've always goal was to hire young people from our Hartford in 8-member town communities to work at the MDC. But this program has been very successful with a lot of hard work from our HR staff, our Jeff King and our construction staff. And we've little summary just about what we did and how we do it. But we have a video which we're going to share with you tonight. It just shows some of our results that we've actually hired individuals from our technical high schools. And one of the benefits to this program that is different than the Learn to Earn program, a lot of the Learn to Earn kids we were receiving from our schools, there were kids that wanted to go to college. They weren't looking for a trade, so to speak. So the Tri-Trade program, I think Commissioner Salemi even suggested it, that we should be focusing on the trade schools, which we are, and a much different result. And so it's been a huge benefit. So we're going to, if you have any questions, we're going to show the video. And also, just remember, in this event that we just had this last couple of weeks ago, we actually have employees going to this event that are actually MDC employees to say, I was in that program last year. So the proof is in the pudding. We actually have hired kids out of the school system, high school, and these kids are starting out at like $65,000 a year, which is amazing with just a high school diploma. So I'm gonna, instead of go through this, you can look through this, but we're gonna just show the video, which was obviously played at the event as well.
Hi, my name is Jeff King. I work for the MDC as a construction manager, and I wanted to talk about our 2025 cohort of our Tri-Trade event. It revolves around our clean water project. We're trying to find local talent and create a pipeline so we can build a new backbone to our aging workforce. So with this program, we've gone to our member towns to find students who are looking to work with their hands and learn more about what the MDC does and expose the students to the various departments in the MDC. We're looking to bring a lot of these students back for our work-based learning program where they, dedicated their entire April vacation to us. Now we're looking to give them an opportunity to work with us at the MDC for the summer, and hopefully that can lead to employment.
Before doing the Tri-Trade program, I was always unsure what I wanted to do. And now doing the Tri-Trade program and then doing the work-based learning program, it just showed me what I wanted to do for my future as a career.
Getting a chance to actually do some of the things that actual operators do here, just seeing how they take all the dirt out from the water and it's just completely separated, and just seeing how dirty the water is, and then going like 2 feet away just to see how like sanitary and clean the water was.
My favorite part would have to be seeing the different facilities and seeing what they do. The experience is really good so far. People are very helpful with explaining stuff.
Our 2024 cohort produced a lot of great employees, and these students are doing a great job. It's only been 1 year and we're already seeing a lot of fruits for our labor.
Hi, I'm Deshaun Smith. I am part of the MDC. I am an employee. I joined the Tri-Trade straight out of high school. Decided to do this because college is not for everybody. They taught me welding, I got to learn cutting, I got to learn ironwork and laboring and carpentry and a lot of different things like electrical. I ended up in water. It's not just a job, it's a career.
My name is Alexi Toro. I work at West Hartford Water Filters. I started at the Tri-Trade program, and from there, my career, I guess you could say, really took off. It really opened my eyes to how many opportunities you could really get from the MDC. I definitely seen this as like a job that I could be in here for like years to come and have a good, successful career, and something that can really change my life, basically.
I would definitely recommend this program because if you don't know what you want to do for a career, this is definitely a program that will interest you to a whole bunch of opportunities, especially at MDC, because you're constantly growing at the MDC. So this is a big opportunity. I would definitely recommend it.
I already tried to recommend some of my friends to just come in and work at MDC. The opportunity of the career, like the benefits that you could get while being here. Take the opportunity as quick as you can.
I definitely would say take this as an opportunity. You learn a lot from it, and there's different places, different things you could do in this industry, in the MDC. So I definitely would say give it a shot.
These students did a great job, so keep promoting the Tri-Trade event to the students who you know are looking to do more than just go to college.
Yeah, great.
Years have we been working on that? 3 or 4?
The question was how many years have we been working on this? So the Learn to Earn program we initiated in 2015, and COVID screwed us up a little bit. And then we got back to it, but it wasn't producing kids that wanted to work in the trades. It was producing kids that got a summer job, but they were college bound. And we initially partnered with the DOT on this Tri-Trade program, which they were developing. And we kind of took it to MDC took it to the next level. So we really started this a little more than a year ago. And again, it was all because we were trying to build capacity for our contractors, our subcontractors, so that we could meet that 30% goal. We've actually had a young man create his own company, a flagging company in Hartford. And so we're really trying to promote local Hartford plumbing contractors to actually hire, instead of having, you know, a contractor from Manchester hire local Hartford kids. We're trying to get and promote Hartford contractors or subcontractors to hire local kids. In this program, in a year and a half, let's say 2 years, this coming summer, we will have hired 4 kids, 2 at the wastewater drinking water treatment plant and 2 at the wastewater treatment plant, under this program, and it's just been a huge success. And again, a lot of hard work from Jeff King and the community and the school systems and Jamie and her staff in HR. So we're very, very happy about this program.
Any questions?
Good work.
Okay, just a little update on the climate survey. As you know, I've talked about meeting with Amazing Workplace and our staff and developing and reviewing the survey itself and developing action plans. So what we have done to date is we have actually met with our management team, which includes 1026 Union, to develop the action plans based on what Amazing Workplace has said from the survey, as well as myself meeting directly with every employee in the district. And so the information I received and the information received from Amazing Workplace, we have developed draft action plans for each department. Over the next 2 weeks, starting tomorrow, the management team for that department will be meeting with staff, including myself, and we will go through those action plans in detail to make sure that the staff in that department feels like the essence of their concerns have been addressed as part of the survey. And if not, we'll talk about, you know, what we didn't do or what we haven't identified, and should we or shouldn't we add some additional items on that. And then once that feedback is provided by staff, we will finalize the action plans with Amazing Workplace within that next 2 weeks. Shortly after that, May 20th and 21st, we also have scheduled training for management, including myself, including 1026, as you all met with Paul to talk about leadership training. And we, you know, the goals are to address communications with our employees through the management level and management skill sets. And my goal is to be able to come back to this board in June to give you a full update and be able to give you actual action plans that have been approved and accepted by the staff, and what we're planning to do. And as Amazing Workplace would say, there's certain things you can address, and there's some items you can't address. And we'll be able to talk through what we can and can't address with the board at the board level. My goal for every employee, the unions, is to be able to say to the unions and to staff, based on these documents, have we addressed every concern or your concerns that has been coming out from the survey? And the answer should be yes. And that's what I want to hear. And I want to hear that in front of the board in the June meeting. And if we haven't been able to address those issues, we'll be able to tell you why we haven't been able to address those issues. So that's the goal. I know Commissioner Taylor would like to have the consultant come in and talk to PP&I. We're happy to do that. But we'd like to get the survey information finalized and more importantly, allow the staff to be able to review it first and have feedback so that when we bring it to you, as well as bring it to PPI, it's been vetted by the employees who actually did the survey. So with that, I'm done with the survey. We also have, the chairman had asked, there was some concerns or questions about buildings that were off. You could see off of 91 around the tunnel. And I asked Susan just to give a little update on what's going on the construction footprint of that site.
Good evening. Susan Negrelli, Director of Engineering. I drive up I-91 every day and get off. I usually get off and go to the Dunkin' at the airport road exit there. But that's what you see as you're coming up I-91. That first building there, the concrete building, really popped out of the ground in the last 4 to 6 months. I don't know anyone else drives that way if you've noticed that. But I'm going to just give you a little bit of update about the project. Okay, thank you. As you know, the tunnel pump station, we're building that so that it will ultimately dewater the tunnel when the tunnel fills with overflows and wastewater and stormwater. The tunnel pump station will be used to pump out the tunnel and send that water to the Hartford Water Pollution Control Facility to be treated. We bid this project about in 2022, awarded the project to C.H. Nickerson, Connecticut contractor, for about $115 million. And just to remind you, this project, we are receiving a 48% grant from the state of Connecticut DEEP. And you know, there's huge equipment in this building. There's 2 buildings you're going to see in some of the photos: the grit and screening building and the actual control building. Huge pumps that 4 huge pumps that will be used to pump the 50 million gallons a day of wastewater from the bottom of the tunnel all the way up to a tank, and then the head tank will move the water by gravity to the treatment plant. But there's all sorts of dehumidifiers, odor control, electrical equipment, backup generators. All of this, you know, encompasses this huge project at $115 million. And you know, some of the most important things of the project will be is the system integration. You know, making sure that when this goes online, that the collection system is coordinated with the treatment system to get everything functioning in sync, and how everything will work together. Again, the original contract value was about $115 million. We've had a few change orders to date, very low percentage. We've have a time extension granted to the contractor. So our original completion date was March of 26. Now we're looking at July of 26. So about a year from now, we'll be doing startup and testing, probably less than a year, but to be getting this facility online from summer to fall of next year. And here you can see cost and time. Where we are percent complete, we're about 75, 72%. And, you know, the contractor is expecting a slight delay in their schedule. They are having some trouble with electrical gear. Seems to be we notice it in really all of our projects right now. Electrical equipment takes an inordinate amount of time to manufacture these days. So they are thinking that there will be a slight delay due to some of that getting that equipment, but still forecasting for fall of 26 completion. And this is just the site schematic to show you. You can see at the top right, that's the building you can see from I-91, the grit and screening facility. That facility is over the old launch shaft. It was about a 38-foot diameter hole, 215 feet deep. So that is where all the grit and screening equipment will be, the bar racks, everything to take the trash out of the tunnel before the water will get pumped over to the plant. That's a very, that building, you know, it is concrete. It's going to have a brick facade, a very humid environment in there. So we did stay with it to be concrete. The control building, which you can see in maybe the lower left side, that is the building that's constructed over the 70-foot diameter pump station shaft. So at the bottom of that shaft, you can see in the picture, is where the large pumps are, which will be used to pump the water up to the head tank, which you can kind of see in the schematic there. And from the head tank, the force main takes the water over to the treatment plant. And you could see there's just, you know, huge areas for dehumidification pads, generator pads, where the electrical power is on the site. the utility service, odor control pad. It's a large construction site that's very active right now. Oh, next slide. And there it is in the same, kind of the same view. So you can see I-91 coming, if you're coming up 91, you're coming out of the top there with that grit and screening facilities is the building that you see. So very active site underway right now. And these are just some of the tunnels of some of the equipment. I'm not going to go through it in detail, but huge bar screens, again, to remove the trash out of the water. There's 2 channels that were constructed within the grit and screening shaft. Electrical rooms. You could see the actual concrete building there over that. In that building is the concrete building, the grit and screening facility. And the next one, the control building, just setting up the roofing system, the purlins, getting the electrical room together, all the piping. I don't know what happened to the elevator shaft. Oh, there it is. That was constructed very early. But again, that's where all the controls, all the pumps, again, located 200 feet down. A lot of the equipment. So a lot of cranes on site for this construction. And the next one, again, here's everything that's down in that lower level, again, 200 feet down. That pump and the picture of the dewatering pump all the way up in the top left, that picture doesn't really do it justice. That's at the testing facility, but those pumps are huge. Some of the isolation valves there. And you can see the bottom center is basically the basement, the very lower level of the pump station building. So you're down 210 feet there, and all the piping and the pump equipment that is down there today. And again, just some other, valves and bypass gates, the head tank where the water will go after it's pumped, dehumidification piping, the large odor control units there. And that's really it. That's it. I didn't want to take too much time to show you some pictures. It's very interesting. And it's really, like I said, in the last 4 to 6 months, it's really popped out of the ground. You can really notice it now. Any questions?
Question?
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'm just curious, when will the tunnel be operational? When do we project?
Fall of next year.
So we'll go online with all of the, okay.
Another question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Question on equipment that is not delivered yet that may be fabricated overseas. Is it subject to tariff?
Yeah, right now, a lot of the equipment, I mean, because we're at the stage where they have most of the equipment and a lot of it's installed. The electrical equipment is manufactured here. So I haven't heard anything about equipment being delayed or tariff induced, from the contractor. Like I said, the biggest concern is some of this electrical gear, but I believe it's all constructed here in the U.S.
And if I may, the COVID really set back the electrical industry tremendously. I mean, you talk to Eversource and they have major problems with getting transformers and those kinds of things because they're still reeling this from COVID. It's really a COVID issue. But just an important point, lessons learned when we toured, Susan talked a lot about dehumidification systems. And as you can imagine, you're down 200 feet and the water's seeping in from every direction, water. So you need to dehumidify just for your controls and the quality of the environment, your equipment that's down there. Lessons learned when we toured Providence's CSO tunnel back in 2000, I'm thinking 2012, 2013, they shut off their dehumidification equipment to save money on electricity. And it created major problems with their controls and their equipment operationally. So lessons weren't learned. We're going to operate our.
And I did show you one, like I keep saying, one of the buildings is concrete and the other one is a more of a prefab metal building.
Yeah.
And that we did do some value engineering there, and we had both buildings were going to be concrete and brick facades, but we did value engineering, but we kept the the wetter building, the more humid building, we kept that concrete. But we were able to change the control building to, to save some money there, and we went with prefab.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do you have, or are there duplicative equipment in the tunnel, for example, pumps and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, there's 4 of those pumps, yes. Yeah.
There, so
There's always, we always have a spare. Yeah.
I think administrative staff and our engineering staff and entire crew deserves a lot of credit for such a project. So you don't build this every day and everywhere. And whatever we have done is a tremendous job of transferring a lot of water to the place the way we have done it. MDC has done it. And I think we should be all proud of what has happened. Thank you.
Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had one more, and it's, goes off of CEO Jellison's comments. Have we done and will we see in this year's budget the projections for the increase of costs that turning the tunnel on in 2026 will have for us? I mean, based on additional electrical, I'm assuming, I don't know what our staff count will be. I'm very curious to see what exactly is our budget that will increase once we flip the switch and this tunnel goes on. I mean, obviously, there's going to be people in these buildings.
Yeah, so and I've said this at a few meetings over the past years, we've been planning for this since 2013. And if you can imagine really in 2008 when we started to bid our electrical contracts, and now we bid our electrical contracts, we have lowered, and I don't quote me on the numbers, but we have lowered the consumption at the plant, but meanwhile doubling the capacity of the plant. And so we have been cognizant of this issue. These pumps are not running, remember, these pumps are not running every day. They're running when we have storms. And so the storage tunnel, the way it operates is you're going to fill up the tunnel and then you're going to slowly move that water. So it's the impact to the cost of running these plants. I don't have the numbers, and I'm not sure if we have those numbers, but we can provide that at a BPW presentation. You don't have any numbers.
Have them on me, no.
But we can show you, Commissioner, the master plan of how we've improved this system so that you're literally using less power today than you were using in 2008 at the plant.
And if I could, can I continue, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I understand that, Scott, but still our budgets have reflected a
Yes.
downwards trend then to our electrical because you've made such good advances. I'm just saying when this comes on,
Yep.
that's going to come back up and our staffing is going to have to reflect that as well. So if we could just have an estimate
Sure.
as far as either in the budget process about what we're looking at next year,
Yep.
based solely on flipping the switch and putting the tunnel in, I think it would be very helpful and for all of us to see that.
And absolutely. And we did project those numbers when we bid the electrical contract, understanding the rough date in which we were going to turn these pumps on. I had a conversation meeting with West Hartford today about stormwater related issues. And the one thing when we do this, when we initiate the system, obviously we're going to have a grand opening, ribbon cutting, all those good things. But one thing that's going to be very important for the MDC to explain to the community is that some people think when you turn the switch on, it's going to stop the water from going into your basement. And that's not what this does. This collects overflows at the river. You remember the river? We always talk about the community benefit. That's why we changed the philosophy in North Hartford. This tunnel is capturing overflows that go to the river, to the tributaries to the Connecticut River. And necessarily turning it on is not going to, it's not going to create more capacity in the sewer pipe for diminishing the impacts to a community during a storm. It's only to alleviate the overflow to the river. So that's a real important communication point that we have to make. This is a CSO clean water discharge to the tributaries of the Connecticut River issue, not to solve basement backups. Right. It's a Long Island Sound issue.
Any other questions? Commissioner?
Yeah, just following up on the commissioner's question, I think to simplify it, I think we're looking at, since we won't know when we're going to get the storms, how difficult that storm is going to be, that sort of thing, that we probably estimate what it would cost per hour, for instance, to run it. I think that's kind of what we're looking at is, if we have to run it for 10 hours, if we have to run it for 5 hours, something like that, that's kind of simplifies it so that we know what kind of labor we have to have assigned to this. And the other kinds of things, the electrical net, I think that's probably the lesser of the cost, but I think to the actual manpower to run this thing for an hour, depending on how many hours we would have to run it to deal with the storm water coming into the system.
And if I may, the size of the pump, the 4 pumps, the size of the system has been designed based on historical storm data. So it's real. We have real data in knowing what we need to and how we need to pump that. And I just don't have those numbers, but we do have those numbers, Commissioner, in terms of our expectation of how much power we're going to use. The generators have been sized and all of this stuff. So we'll give a full presentation at BPW.
And Commissioner Van Dyke, just so you know, I don't think your question premature, that ongoing and preliminary discussions about the upcoming budget are already taking place. So, even though we've just entered into May, so it's all already there. But thank you. Any other questions? Okay, Scott.
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Report from District Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chris Stone, District Council, just 3 things, really updates on some pretty significant pending issues. The first is the landfill / Buckingham Garage cases. All 3 of those cases, as you know, have been consolidated. They're on the complex litigation docket in Hartford. We had a judge specifically assigned to us, who has since been elevated to the appellate court. So as of a month ago, we have a new judge that's overseeing it, Judge Clow, who you may have heard the name. He's practiced in Hartford when he was a lawyer. His most significant cases involves First Amendment cases and free press cases, that type of thing. But he's been on the bench for 4 or 5 years now, very competent. He's been assigned to us. Unfortunately, with a new judge comes a new schedule. And while we thought that we were going to be ready for trial in early 2016, it's now the fall of 2016. So, 16. I'm not 16, 26, sorry. That would be 3016, I guess. No, I'm sorry, 2026. Sorry about that. We thought we were going to be going forward in January of 2026, but it's been extended. There's nothing we can do to control that. In fact, the dates we have in the fall of 2026 are the earliest dates we could have gotten from the choices we had. So we chose the earliest of possible dates. The second issue is the Colebrook Reservoir and the termination of that contract. We received from the U.S. Attorney's Office a draft termination agreement. We're reviewing that. One component to that agreement is an accounting by the Army Corps of Engineers of whatever monies may be owed to date. You recall that we had stopped paying them directly. We have held some money through our budget and I'll call it an escrow, but held it back as part of our budget. So we had a reserve in which to tap once we knew the final numbers. In addition to what we have on our books as a reserve, the U.S. government, as is their right to do, has been intercepting water bills that they would otherwise have to pay for federal buildings or federal operations within the state of Connecticut and within the MDC jurisdiction. One of the major water users in Newington is the Veterans Facility in Newington. They have intercepted the approximately $40,000 per year, per month, excuse me, payments, which on the face of it says, you know, you might want to cry foul, but we're going to end up paying that anyway. So we're good for approximately $40,000 a month, which do the math, it works out to some $480,000 plus or minus, which we already have credited to us. And that's been going on for more than a year. So there's a credit back to us. We're working with that, not only in terms of the termination of that contract, but also the surrender of our FERC license for the hydro facility at the Colebrook Dam. And also there's some personal property equipment that we don't need. We're going to offer that to the Army Corps as part of the negotiations, either as an offset over what we owe. It may cost us more money to get rid of it's a crane. It may cost us more money to take it off site and dispose of it than just leaving it there. And then finally, we're going to have hopefully by the June meeting, all the final numbers will be in from the tunnel claim. As you recall, that was settled for $51 million. The monies have been paid. We're waiting on reimbursement from the state of their percentage, which is about 45% of what we paid, less 28,000. So they approved 51 million less 28,000 as being eligible for funding. 45% of that number is Kelly? About 22 million plus or minus 23 million plus or minus. So we're expecting that reimbursement from the state of Connecticut Deep in the Clean Water Fund. That would be good news when we get that. I believe it's been I think Vivian has either submitted or will be submitting the final pay rec this week. And then we're also waiting for, obviously, the deep reimbursement. But hopefully that'll all begin during the month of May, and we'll have an overall summary of the tunnel claim and the resolution of that claim at the June meeting. And that's all I have. If anyone has any questions.
Questions, anyone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Being done, number 10, presentation by Metro Hartford Alliance is postponed until our June meeting. Move on now to number 11, Water Bureau, consideration, potential action, encroachment agreement, concourse, park redevelopment, Forbes Street and Silver Lane, East Hartford. Chair recognizes Chair Adel for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the March 31st meeting, the Water Bureau went over the JASCO plans in East Hartford. We had a few modifications to the agreement, meaning mainly so that we wouldn't approve until everything had been filed completely with the board, with the town of East Hartford Land Records, but passed unanimously on the Water Bureau.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Motion carries. Move on to Bureau of Public Works, consideration of potential action. And we have 3 items, and I'll leave it to the chair of Bureau of Public Works, but whether to do them individually or as one, but we have the encroachment agreement, Concourse Park, Silver Lane, East Hartford, the encroachment agreement, Spark on Cedar, 1 MYRA Cohen Way, Newington, and license agreement for parking at 45 Granby Street, Hartford. Now, the chair recognizes Chair Hoffman.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just to report on Public Works, the first 2 items, A and B, were encroachments. They were both dealt with unanimously, passed through the committee. The third item, John, can you, John Myrtle, maybe you just clarify if we actually took action on that third item?
Yes, yeah,
See-
that was passed at BPW as well.
Okay, I thought it might have gotten wrapped up in the other part of our discussion, which was continued to a further date. But anyway, if that's the case, then we did what we were asked to do.
Okay. And I'll entertain a motion by you to approve.
Yes, move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Consolidated.
Are they, yes?
All 3 are moved.
Did you make a motion to approve all 3 items, 12A, B, and C?
Consolidated.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, there's no reason not to.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Before we move on for opportunity for general public comments, I would like to wish Vice Chair DeBella a happy 39th? 39th birthday coming up on Wednesday.
82.
I'm sorry, what was that?
82.
Thank you. Carry it over here.
Twice as old as you, John.
Is there anyone in the audience or online that would like to address the
Let me
board?
make one more adjustment. I renewed my license today and I took the 8-year plan. My driver's license.
Only because it was cheaper.
It was cheaper.
Okay, anyone in the audience who would like to address the board on any item?
Yes, Chairman, this is Judy Allen.
Hi, go ahead, Judy.
I'm online.
I see your name.
Again, Judy Allen, West Hartford. And just briefly, I was listening to public radio the other day, and I think it was a public service announcement from DEEP, and they were looking for lifeguards. So I'm wondering if that's an option for the MDC to consider, that there might be a way to get the word out that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Okay. Commissioner requests for consideration of future agenda items. Commissioner Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to add to a future board meeting, perhaps a process whereby commissioners are notified when we have larger mishaps or events in their communities, like we had in Weathersfield last week. Like to have some consideration of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to propose a future discussion regarding the sump pump program. So I recommend that program quite a bit. I'm involved with real estate, and there's a lot of people that I recommend the program to, and I've stopped recommending the program. And the reason I stopped recommending it is because of the discharge problem with the sump pump. So there's really no engineering that occurs when the water leaves the house. So it's basically you put it out the front, you put it out the side, and then it becomes the homeowner's problem to deal with that water. And so I actually participated in that program willingly and excited to be helping the system, and it's actually served me to have additional issues with erosion, puddles in places I didn't want.
If I could interrupt, are you asking for a sump pump to be put on a future agenda?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was a long way about going.
It was a very long way. I thought it was Scott talking for a minute.
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to have a future discussion regarding the sump pump program.
Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners?
Density problem.
Dominic, I cut you off early in the evening. Did you have something?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I just wanted to thank Dave Ruddy for all his work and all the other staff that worked on the 25-year dinner. It was a wonderful event, and it was just fantastic. Thank you very much. And congratulations to all the employees that made the milestone of 25 years all the way up to 40 years working here at the MDC. And I think that the other two commissioners that joined me, Commissioner Bush and Commissioner Desai, would agree that it was really a wonderful event. So thank you very much, David.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And before I adjourn, I would like to just say that I've had a couple of commissioners approach me and ask that I have better control of this meeting. And I take their advice in a positive way. And the questions that have come up are being questions asked back and forth and not through the chair. So future meetings, if that comes up, I'm going to gavel and ask that you ask questions through the chair. And I'm going to those commissioners that have raised these concerns, I'll try to do a better job. So with that, we have completed the agenda and this meeting is adjourned.